Hello, welcome to Text Mining for Historians, this time with Python. I am Casper and I will guide you through the next two lectures. And these lectures are somewhat different from the preceding ones. So they will be less based around videos, but more on hands-on material and more interactive material. And the main goal of these lectures is to build some familiarity with a coding language, with a programming language. In this case, you will have the opportunity to learn some basic Python skills and learn how to interact with a computer, but also with data and algorithms through a coding language. Um, Code is becoming an increasingly important historical and an increasingly important skill in humanities and historical research. And I hope that by completing these lectures, you will obtain some basic coding skills and some basic code literacy, most importantly. And the primary skill you will learn in the process is to read and adapt code. But also you will be able to write some code and build your own programs, but this might take some more time and exercise, and it's maybe not as important to everyone. So the first part of this course, of these two lectures, is based on obtaining basic Python skills and understanding how to process and manipulate text using a programming language. And the second part will focus more on useful applications of working with Python. So you will learn how to find and extract relevant files from a large collection, apply natural language processing tools to your data and to your text. For example, lemmatize your corpus, find parts of speech, but also we will cover some basic analytical methods. So for example, how to compute word frequencies, collocations, and most importantly, study trends over time. So these lectures mirror some of the things Luke Blaxwell has discussed in his lecture about nconc. But I hope the reason why we also teach skills in Python is Python and programming language are still more fundamental skills, more fundamental digital skills. And soon, once you obtain those skills, soon you can go beyond anything that nconc can offer you. And in this course, we show some examples how to build your own program which does everything in a few steps, but which will be a program tuned to your research question. Um, but most importantly, some aspects, this part will kind of allow you to do some more advanced analysis later in part two, where we discuss some more advanced and statistical heavy aspects of text mining. Um, but these lectures focus more on like basic text mining skills still. And this video will introduce you to the working environment of this course and explain a bit of philosophy, but then actually you can just delve in yourself and interact with the materials as you like. So as you see on the main page of this course, you see the Open in Colab button. If you click on it, you should see such a kind of screen in front of you. Um, and Colab is like an environment in the cloud that allows you to um, write text and code. Um, and I would now show you a bit how to use how Colab works and what it actually does. So as you see on the top left, you see there are two main buttons, text and code. So in Colab you have two cells, code cells and text cells. And for example, if I click on something, you see this rectangular appearing. Um, this is this shows you the boundaries of different cells. And I just scroll down for a bit. Just to see each of those notebooks are quite long and should everything should be explained properly. But for example, here this is a one cell. If you double click on it, you see it changes, and what you see now is actually the Markdown syntax uh, beyond this cell. So Markdown is like a specific way of writing and formatting text. So it's explained here, but just to know with Markdown or text cells, you can write your own text and maybe also comment on your code. But also, if you scroll down a bit more, you see these light gray cells, and these are Python cells. And here, this will be the most important ones in this course. And these will allow you to write code and run it, and then see what happens. And you see they have this play button just next to it at the left. So let's let's see, and you see here that now it ran the cell. See, and each time you run the cell, you see at the left there's a number appearing, meaning that you correctly run the cell. So let's start with this one. You see here there's nothing here. Let's press play and see there the text, this text appears. So these are the very basic elements of a notebook which you will be using in this course, like text and code. And one more comment, I think, if you get stuck somewhere. So one thing that happens often is that if you take a break, Colab doesn't delete everything you've done previously. So every time you take a break, go to runtime, restart runtime, and maybe start from the top running your code. Also, if you get stuck, it's the same recipe. Just go to runtime, restart runtime, and then your notebook should run again. Um, so I think at this point, it is important to say that um, the 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 philosophy of this course is built around the idea that coding is not a linear process, but it's an iterative process. And you will learn by doing and experimenting. And each time you go to these notebooks, you will learn how you will refine and extend your coding skills. But the important thing is we like to show the applications early, so you don't lose too much time like into these technicalities of the Python language. So Python is quite a complex syntax, especially if you're not familiar with the coding language. It will take you some time to get familiar with it, and there are like a lot of details to learn on the way. But we don't want those details to stand in the way of you learning some basic skills. So we first of all would like to give you an idea why coding is useful and what it does and what it looks like. So we skip some of the details initially. So I should suggest when you first engage with these materials, just run the code, read the text, run the code, see what happens. Don't worry too much, but just run and try to understand a bit what's happening and why the code does what it does. But don't care too much about the details. And then in the second and later attempts, what you can do then is to go to exercises. So you see in each notebook. So here we are in the second notebook. Um, so you can see there this text cells, and you can write here just to make sure you can write in those cells as well. And here you can run code. And yeah, this is also something that happens if you run it for the first time. Um, because I wrote those notebooks, Google will ask you to make sure you trust these notebooks, but you can just say run anyway because there's no malicious code in these notebooks. But there could be, so be careful. Anyway, so you see there are many exercises in these notebooks, and you can read them and then write your answers in those Python cells. And I think in the second iteration, you can try to do the exercises and so on. But still, this isn't everything. So that there this just reads. Then the second iteration to the exercises. But then later on, you can also go what are called breakout sessions. So they're marked like this. And in these breakout sessions, you can have a close look at some of the technical aspects of Python. And so the idea was not to discuss them too much initially, because I think they will just distract you from learning why coding is actually useful. But if you really want to know what's happening and to know the basics of syntax, of Python syntax, then I should suggest you go to these breakout sessions. You can click on them, and these just open another notebook, and these will discuss more technical details of the Python language. And then you can go from there. So then again, this is more like an iterative process. And just to do some expectation management in the end of this video, I think it's important when you do this course, you should decide what level of code literacy is important to me. What level of code literacy would I like to achieve? And I think for many of you, just having some sense, some familiarity with code, recognizing code as code, understanding a bit of the syntax, see what it can do, what it can do, what is difficult when using coding language, is enough. I think this is enough. And if you would like to be more develop your coding skills and really start writing your own programs, you will learn the basics in this course, but you won't learn everything. You won't be a proficient programmer after this course, but you will have made the first step. You have made the bridge to learning a coding language, And in the bibliography, we will provide you with more extensive materials, so you can do a more structured learning and really get a good grip of all the details of all the aspects of the Python programming language. Um, so that's it for now. I would say please enjoy the first lecture on Python basics and text manipulation. And yes, enjoy. Thank you very much.